Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt referred to Adolf Hitler as a Bohemian corporal, revealing his disdain for the Nazi leader. Yet he continued to serve Hitler throughout the war. How did von Rundstedt reconcile his aristocratic values with the realities of Nazi Germany? In today's video, we peel back the layers of von Rundstedt's life. We'll explore his aristocratic roots, his rise through the ranks, and the decisions that put him at odds with Hitler. In 1892, Gerd von Rundstedt joined the German army, unaware of his future role as Hitler's top field marshal. Born into an aristocratic Prussian family with a long military tradition, von Rundstedt's early years were marked by rigorous training and a deep immersion in Prussian military values of discipline, honor, and duty. These principles would shape his entire career and leadership style. The aftermath of World War I presented new challenges for von Rundstedt. Despite the severe restrictions imposed on the German military by the Treaty of Versailles, he remained in service. As Germany began rebuilding its military strength in the late 1920s and early 1930s, von Rundstedt played a crucial role in modernizing the army while maintaining his commitment to traditional values. In 1932, von Rundstedt achieved the rank of full general. This promotion came on the eve of a radical transformation in German politics with the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. As the political landscape shifted dramatically, von Rundstedt faced the challenge of navigating the treacherous waters of Nazi Germany. His aristocratic background and traditional military values were at odds with the Nazi regime's ideology. Despite referring to Hitler as a Bohemian corporal and harboring disdain for many Nazi Party leaders, von Rundstedt continued to serve in Hitler's army. However, his aristocratic background and traditional Prussian values clashed with what he viewed as the ambitious nature of Nazi leadership. The Blomberg-Fritsch affair of early 1938 highlighted these tensions. When General Werner von Fritsch was accused of homosexuality, von Rundstedt defended him, insisting on Fritsch's right to face his accusers before a court of honor. This action demonstrated von Rundstedt's commitment to military tradition and justice, rather than direct opposition to the Nazi regime. Von Rundstedt held to a strict code of political neutrality for military officers, famously stating, "It's a very ancient Prussian tradition that an officer does not concern himself with politics." This belief led him to avoid involvement in anti-Hitler plots, even when aware of their existence. He viewed his duty as being to Germany itself, rather than to any particular regime, which allowed him to rationalize his continued service. In 1938, shortly after the occupation of the Sudetenland, von Rundstedt retired from the army. His retirement was short-lived, however, as he was recalled to active duty in June 1939 to lead Army Group South for the impending invasion of Poland. As the invasion of Poland began in September 1939, von Rundstedt's troops advanced rapidly from Silesia and Slovakia, capturing key cities including Krakow and Warsaw. The Polish campaign demonstrated von Rundstedt's proficiency in mobile warfare, with his forces employing combined arms tactics to overwhelm their opponents. The Battle of Bzura stood out as a significant engagement during this campaign. Polish forces attempted a counterattack, but von Rundstedt's leadership ensured his troops contained and ultimately defeated the offensive. This success in Poland set the stage for the further refinement of blitzkrieg strategies that would soon be deployed in Western Europe. In May 1940, von Rundstedt led Army Group A in the invasion of France. His forces executed the Manstein Plan, which involved a swift armored assault through the Ardennes forest. This bold maneuver caught the Allies off guard and led to the encirclement of their forces. Von Rundstedt's troops reached the English Channel, cutting off the British Expeditionary Force. These early victories elevated von Rundstedt to the highest rank of the German military. On July 19, 1940, von Rundstedt was promoted to Field Marshal in recognition of his crucial role in the fall of France. This new status brought von Rundstedt closer to Hitler and the Nazi inner circle, increasing the scrutiny of his future decisions. While von Rundstedt's military achievements were undeniable, they came with significant moral implications. The tension between tactical success and ethical responsibility would weigh heavily on von Rundstedt throughout the war and beyond. His relationship with his subordinate commanders revealed both his strategic insight and personal conflicts. He supported Erich von Manstein's innovative tactics, recognizing their potential to transform warfare. However, he often disagreed with the aggressive Heinz Guderian, whose tendency to push beyond ordered objectives clashed with von Rundstedt's more cautious approach. As Western Europe fell under German control, von Rundstedt found himself at the peak of his military career. However, greater challenges loomed on the horizon, with Hitler's attention turning eastward. Operation Barbarossa in June 1941 presented von Rundstedt with an unprecedented challenge as he took command of Army Group South. Tasked with conquering Ukraine, von Rundstedt's forces achieved significant victories. By late September, his troops had encircled Kyiv, capturing over 452,000 Soviet soldiers. The success continued into autumn, with his forces seizing Kharkov in late October and Rostov by the end of November. As winter approached, the German advance began to falter. Overextended supply lines, harsh weather conditions, and fierce Soviet resistance took their toll on the German army. Von Rundstedt, recognizing the deteriorating situation, made a critical decision that put him at odds with Hitler. He advocated for a tactical withdrawal to the Meuse River line, arguing that his exhausted troops needed to regroup and resupply after months of continuous combat. Hitler viewed any form of retreat as unacceptable, insisting on holding ground at all costs. This clashed directly with von Rundstedt's military judgment. Von Rundstedt replied by insisting on his decision and adding, "Should confidence in my leadership no longer exist, I beg to request someone be substituted who enjoys the necessary confidence of the Supreme Command." This act of defiance sealed von Rundstedt's fate. On December 1, 1941, Hitler dismissed the Field Marshal, replacing him with Walter von Reichenau. However, von Reichenau quickly recognized the gravity of von Rundstedt's assessment and effectively convinced Hitler, through Halder, to approve the strategic withdrawal. The dismissal marked not only a personal setback for von Rundstedt, but also signified the first major defeat for the German army in World War II. Hitler quickly realized he had overstepped by dismissing his highest-ranking German army commander. Upon arriving at von Rundstedt's headquarters, Poltava, on December 3rd, he was confronted by both Walter von Reichenau and Sepp Dietrich, who defended von Rundstedt's decision. Hitler reluctantly accepted this explanation. In a meeting with von Rundstedt, Hitler claimed the dismissal was a misunderstanding and suggested von Rundstedt take a leave of absence, promising his incomparable services would be needed again. On December 5th, with his honor restored, von Rundstedt left Poltava, never to return to the Eastern Front. When von Rundstedt returned to his home in Kassel, he received a 250,000 Reichsmark check from Hitler, part of a strategy to secure loyalty among senior commanders. Although many found this offensive, none refused the gifts. Von Rundstedt avoided cashing the check, but by February 1942, pressure from Berlin led him to do so. Some people have linked his acceptance of the money to his failure to support the resistance against Hitler's regime, but von Rundstedt distanced himself from it, giving the money to his daughter-in-law. In March 1942, Hitler recalled von Rundstedt from retirement, appointing him Commander-in-Chief West. Von Rundstedt's task was to defend the Atlantic coast against an impeding Allied invasion. Von Rundstedt was tasked with overseeing the construction of the Atlantic Wall, a vast network of coastal fortifications. However, von Rundstedt had no faith in the Atlantic Wall, and only saw it as a useful form of propaganda. As the threat of invasion grew, he again found himself at odds with Hitler's strategic vision. The Führer insisted on a static defense strategy, keeping German forces close to the coast. Von Rundstedt, drawing on his extensive military experience, favored a more flexible approach. He argued for positioning armored divisions further inland for greater maneuverability. This strategic disagreement with Hitler extended to von Rundstedt's relationship with Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, who had been assigned to improve coastal defenses. Rommel agreed with von Rundstedt's assessment that the Atlantic Wall was merely a gigantic bluff. However, he also felt that von Rundstedt's defense strategy was impossible due to the overwhelming air superiority of the Allies. Like Hitler, Rommel was convinced that the only way to stop the invasion was to confront it directly on the beaches. On June 6, 1944, the Allied invasion began. Von Rundstedt faced the largest amphibious assault in military history. His initial response was hampered by Hitler's insistence on personally authorizing the deployment of the Panzer reserves. This delay cost the German forces a crucial opportunity to hold off the invasion early on. As Allied forces established their beachhead, von Rundstedt's concerns about the Atlantic Wall's vulnerabilities were confirmed. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, he and Rommel advised Hitler to consider a strategic withdrawal. Hitler's refusal led to further losses and a deteriorating situation for the German forces in Normandy. On June 29th, von Rundstedt and Rommel attended a meeting with Hitler at Berchtesgaden, where they again advised Hitler to withdraw, but their demands were again dismissed. Upon returning to his headquarters on June 30th, von Rundstedt received a critical message from General Leo Freyer Gerd von Schweppenberg, who was in charge of the armored forces at Caen. Von Schweppenberg urgently requested permission to withdraw his units to escape the relentless Allied naval bombardments. Von Rundstedt agreed with this request and informed the Armed Forces High Command, or OKW, of his decision. However, on July 1st, von Rundstedt received an order from the OKW that reversed his order. Angered by the turn of events, von Rundstedt contacted Keitel to persuade him to appeal to Hitler for a change in the decision. Keitel responded that this was not possible. "What shall we do?" Keitel asked. Von Rundstedt is said to have replied, "Make peace, you fools. What else can you do?" Hitler dismissed von Rundstedt from his command. He was replaced by Günther von Kluge. Von Rundstedt departed France permanently on July 4th, accompanied by his son, Hans Gerd von Rundstedt, as they traveled to a sanatorium in Bad Tolz to be with his wife. In December 1944, Hitler recalled von Rundstedt to oversee the Ardennes offensive, a desperate attempt to split the Allied forces. Von Rundstedt harbored significant doubts about the operation's feasibility, proposing a more modest plan with his fellow commander Model. They believed the original objectives were impossible with the available forces. Hitler's insistence on launching the offensive before the end of November put immense pressure on von Rundstedt and his command. The Field Marshal found himself effectively sidelined, reduced to a figurehead, as Hitler dictated the planning directly. Despite these limitations, von Rundstedt oversaw the initial stages of the offensive, which began on December 16, 1944. The German forces initially made progress, breaking through weak American defenses. However, von Rundstedt soon recognized that the Allies were quick to react. Concerned about the offensive's sustainability, he urged OKW to halt the operation to prevent it from becoming a second Stalingrad. His fears were validated as improving weather allowed Allied air forces to attack with devastating effect, pushing the German forces back. On March 9, 1945, Hitler called von Rundstedt to inform him that he was being replaced by Albert Kesselring, and with that came an end to Gerd von Rundstedt's 52-year military career. On March 11th, von Rundstedt had a final meeting with Hitler, during which Hitler expressed his gratitude for von Rundstedt's loyalty. Von Rundstedt was captured by American forces on May 1, 1945. In the final days of the war, von Rundstedt's health had rapidly declined. His heart condition worsened, and he suffered from arthritis. Upon capture, von Rundstedt was taken into custody and held in various internment camps, including the British-controlled Island Farm Special Camp 11 in Bridgend, Wales. During his initial interrogation, von Rundstedt suffered a heart attack, reflecting the strain of his final months in command. In 1948, von Rundstedt was released on health grounds due to his declining physical condition. This release did not absolve him of responsibility, as he was still under scrutiny for his role in the war, particularly regarding war crimes. However, he was never formally tried at the Nuremberg trials. After his release, von Rundstedt spent his remaining years in relative seclusion, surrounded by family until his death on February 24, 1953. Gerd von Rundstedt's legacy in World War II remains a subject of debate among historians. His tactical brilliance, particularly in the early stages of the war, contrasts sharply with his continued service under the Nazi regime, despite awareness of atrocities committed under his command. Von Rundstedt's aristocratic background and private disdain for Hitler further complicate assessments of his actions. The Field Marshal's stance on political neutrality for military officers encapsulates a central dilemma faced by professional soldiers under totalitarian regimes. His belief that as a soldier it was his responsibility to follow the orders of the government, regardless of the nature of those orders, exemplifies the tension between duty and moral responsibility. Von Rundstedt's case raises critical questions about the ethical obligations of military leaders during times of war. It challenges us to consider at what point following orders becomes complicity in war crimes. The ongoing discussions about von Rundstedt's accountability highlights the complex moral terrain navigated by military commanders under authoritarian rule, prompting reflection on the nature of duty and honor in the face of systemic evil. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video informative, and if you enjoyed learning about today's topic, make sure to check out our other videos about German generals. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more World War II content. And we'll see you in the next one.